Moving on, people living and raising a family outside of their home country are often faced with certain extra requirements, anything from filing foreign income taxes to registering children as citizens born abroad, and the latter being particularly important for Israelis living in the States, so that the kids can avoid major issues down the line. That said, sometimes these things are left undone, especially with Israel's confusing bureaucracy. So joining us with some legal insight is advocate Michael Decker, name partner of Cohen Decker, Pex and Brosh Law Offices. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, first off, is a child born abroad to Israeli parents or even to one Israeli parent considered an Israeli citizen automatically?
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for having me. The answer is that by law, according to the citizenship law of Israel, then yes, a child of an Israeli parent is a citizen by birth. However, it's not automatic in the sense that that maybe de facto you're a citizen, but technically speaking, you need to register the birth at the Israeli embassy, and that doesn't happen all the time.
So why is it necessary to register at the embassies? What are the benefits maybe of gaining that Israeli citizenship, and what are the consequences of not registering?
First of all, many people just don't register just out of lack of knowledge. They just don't know that they have to register the birth within a month after the birth, and if a long time passes afterwards, it becomes difficult because the embassy may require evidence and so on and so forth. But I think now during the corona, this became a huge fiasco even because in order to approve entry to Israel of people, the requirement is that if you're a citizen de facto, meaning if your parents are citizens, the embassy requires that you have a passport to enter. So you have whole families that are basically stuck in the States. I know you have whole groups that are trying to even put pressure on the government to allow them in, of Israelis basically, and they're not allowed in because they never registered their children on time. So this became a huge situation there, but there are other issues that always arise, like for example, if someone was never registered and then he tries to visit at age 18, all of a sudden he discovers that he's supposed to serve in the army and he never even dealt with that, or he's supposed to come in with a passport and they ask him at the border questions and they give him problems leaving without an Israeli passport. So it's important to be registered.
Believe it or not, I actually know some of these consequences personally. But so would it ever be necessary to actually test paternity or maternity DNA?
It becomes relevant mainly when only the father is an Israeli citizen and the mother is not. Or let's say the mother is not an Israeli citizen and also not entitled to immigrate to Israel. Let's say she's not Jewish or a descendant of a Jew or not entitled to immigrate according to the law of return, then you don't always know that the father is the father. You always know that the mother is the mother. Usually the father is registered as the father as a presumption, actually, and that's an accepted presumption all over the world. So when it's only the father is an Israeli citizen and the mother is not, then sometimes the embassy will require a paternity test. This also becomes relevant if a registration never occurred, and the child wants to register himself when he's 16 only, or like 15 or 16, then the embassy may require, for example, evidence like birth documents from the hospital, not only the birth certificate. And if that's not possible to present, then the embassy may require an actual paternity test from the court in Israel.
All right, so it sounds like there are a lot of reasons to absolutely not delay and not neglect these responsibilities with this citizenship issue. And of course, everybody watching at home, if you have any of these issues or questions about citizenship or registration, please contact the law offices of Cohen Decker, Pex, and Brosh. Michael, thank you so much for being with us again.
With pleasure.